Hello again. In 1999, Uthrania and I had a heavy presence on internet, communicating with primarily President Saddam Hussein and in general the Arab world. We posted articles, many articles on Arabia.com, comments and the likes. And I placed on my own website a cloaked message for President Saddam Hussein. Why cloaked? The article that I placed at the time was called The Key of Implementation. Why implementation? Implementation of what? The implementation of a paradisical order without the use of money. And the article primarily deals with how to get there. I wrote at the time, that was 1999, it is imperative that all aspects of the book Money on Trial, the book Money on Trial is a book I wrote prior to that, are properly understood before attempting to actually implement a truly cash and money-free society. Issues of rights of ownership must be clearly defined. Limitations on claims on society's production by individuals or groups of individuals must be placed in order to curb impulses of sheer greed. This type of economics works best with spiritually highly evolved people. It opens the doorway to the universe, and in that is very powerful. The people will love it, but do never underestimate the threat from those who have thus been knocked off their throne of power. It is best to neutralize their future effectiveness. So the question is what to do in order to phase out the use of all currency, overwhelming the public with a brand new, never-before-tried-out way of doing business. Once you have assured yourself the cooperation of several other nations in bringing it all to pass, and after you are certain that all participating nations can, as a unit of several states, achieve self-sufficiency in all aspects of human life and comfort, then is the time to begin phasing out money, using the tool of subsidies in order to begin reducing the production costs of all goods and services down to zero. Let me explain myself. Begin with the food production industry, that is, the farmers. Say to the farmer, the government will from now on pay for all your operating costs, including all machinery, buildings, and so on, in return for your production free of charge to the food processor. So the farmer's costs are zero, except to write his checks out against the new account given to him by the central bank of the nation. He knows his checks will never bounce, and those whom he pays for services rendered to him will also know that his checks are good. What happens as a consequence is this. The consumer will see food costs go down because the processor's costs have also gone down. The food processor gets his product free of charge from the farmer and therefore can lower his costs to the distributor, who then passes the savings on to the consumer. Follow this pattern to do the same with the food processing factories. Subsidize their operation 100% in terms of all costs in return for free food delivery. Repeat the same with the distributors and dealers, And what you get at the consumer level is free food for the people. The people will then see their purchasing power grow and become less worried about survival. Move to shelter, which is housing, next. Cancel all mortgages and debts related to housing. The people again will see their costs lowered and purchasing power increased. They will love you, leaders, for it. In like manner, move from industry to industry and plainly obsolete money by means of subsidies. If people become concerned and say, "You are creating too much money for too few goods," you retort, "Good. Don't buy more than you need, and don't worry about too much money in your accounts. Soon we will do away with that nonsense altogether. You already must have most of your needs for free, don't you?" When finally too many goods and services are offered for free because of a system of 100% subsidies, then pull the plug on money altogether and declare it obsolete. At that point, nobody will know the difference anymore. Thus, you have raised the thinking of a society from one level up to the next. You may ask, but what about some nations not belonging to our economic union wanting to have our oil or whatever we produce? The answer? Sell it to them, accepting their currency in your central bank. That will give you their own homegrown cash to buy their technology with. Use their own currency as a tool to import high-tech know-how. That's all I wrote at the time 20 years ago. I believe President Saddam Hussein got this message, got himself into a pile of trouble with the Anglo-Saxon, American, British forces who didn't like what he was doing. And you know the rest of the story. His country became bombed and in 2003 invaded. And now, 20 years later, as far as Iraq is concerned, we have a failed state. A state which is, in my opinion, not functioning properly anymore. The resources are taken from profits, and the nation as a whole is nothing but a big mess. Thank you for listening. My name is Reni Sentana-Ries. Please don't hesitate to go to my Facebook page, which is at the moment my main outlet for what Uthrania and I have to say, which is facebook.com/Sentana-Ries, Sentanaries. And you find links there that will connect you to other internet sites that we also carry. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening, and have a good day, good evening, and a good night. Bye-bye.